How you
What's your
doing,
name, sir?
Hugh.
Hugh, nice to meet you. Hugh. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we disagree about the purpose of the state and
okay.
specifically over individual and group rights.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, go on.
You really don't like the idea of any group being privileged.
No, I don't know.
What about if that is, what is the purpose of the state if not to privilege the citizens of that state?
Yeah, but the citizens of the state is everyone in the state, is it not?
Well, you've got
I'm
this idea.
I'm not in favour of illegal immigrants, obviously.
Okay, sure, I understand, but you also believe in this idea of your service guarantees citizenship.
That's right, yeah.
So basically, anyone can be a citizen as long as they're benefiting the economy. That's
that's. I mean, I'm not. That's more of a meme than it is a policy that I would put across.
Right, but you believe in. Sorry.
The whole point of the service guarantee citizenship is really it speaks to social groups rather than the actual state itself. Because I mean, if you want a social group to exist, then you have to get out and actually actually contribute to that in some way, and that's you doing that is a part of that thing existing. So you being a part of that actually makes it exist and then creates an obligation on that social group to be supportive of you in some way. And that's generally how social groups and societies work. But that's not necessarily how I think the state should work. The state should be inclusive of all of its citizens.
Okay. When it comes to somebody wanting to join this country, you would judge them on an individual basis?
Yes, I would, yeah.
Don't you think this is incredibly impractical? I mean, it requires a huge bureaucracy to manage that, to vet.
We already have it, don't we?
We already have yeah, and look what's going on, Carl.
Yeah, but the alternative, I think, would be worse. And the fact that it's not going brilliantly is not necessarily because of the system. I think it's the people who are making the decisions by which the system then has to operate.
Okay. So how would you correct these things? What would you do to make it better?
At the moment, I think it's really just the way we view how things are going. And I think that we can, I assume you're thinking of immigration here.
Yeah, because I said you were talking about group rights, individual rights, so bring that back in.
Yeah.
I would just bar people by group identity. I'd happily do that.
What, from doing what? Entering the country?
Yeah, I would say, do we need any more sub-Saharan Africans in this country? I understand that
Do we need any more French people?
But French people are integrate far easier. No, come on.
I don't know. I'm still sick of them.
I think that's a bit of a dodge, because the Northwestern Europeans, if you take the average Northwestern European, they have no problem integrating to this country. And certainly cross-generationally, if they have children here, their children are basically going to be English.
Well, no.
So you're saying
hang on a second.
It's
because I know you're about
to
try and mischaracterize me now. Right.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'm happy for these things to be done on an individual basis.
Yeah.
Because frankly, what you're suggesting just seems lazy to me. I mean, I accept that if we judge these things on an individual basis, we're probably going to have far less Somalians than there will French people being allowed into the country if we set a certain kind of criteria. But I don't want to have to keep, say, the Ayaan Hirsi Alis of the world out of the country from wherever.
I knew you were going to bring her up.
Why wouldn't I? She's the perfect example. But I don't want to necessarily keep her out, even though other people in her country are people I would find distasteful.
Yeah.
But then I don't necessarily want, the people who shot up Charlie Hebdo from being let in, even though they're French citizens. So...
Okay. I would say that they got into France based on the same problems that we have with our system. But Ayaan Hirsi
they were
Ali,
actually born and raised in France.
Okay, but Ayaan Hirsi Ali, right?
Yeah.
How many thousands of Somalis do we have to vet to find her the diamond in the rough?
Well,
your average Somali is a Muslim that believes in the supremacy of Sharia law.
Sure.
They practice things that they have cultural traditions that we consider completely barbaric. Yeah. Female genital mutilation, forced child marriage. They think dogs harbour the spirits of devils, which leads to a huge culture of animal cruelty. It's pretty savage. Yeah. So what is the point of going through all these thousands of people and burdening our Home Office with that? And then ultimately, if you're going to let Ayaan Hirsi Ali in,
they have to check every single person who comes in. I mean, you have to check their criminal background. I mean, you're acting as if France doesn't have criminals. You're acting as if they aren't drug dealers or smugglers.
I'm not saying
murderers,
we shouldn't vet people. I'm saying we could make it far easier for ourselves. I mean, I'm not really sure why you're advocating for the vetting of Somalis in the first place. What's the point? Just for one Ayaan Hirsi Ali?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not particularly bigoted against Somalis in principle.
Okay. So let's take the Sudanese then, another example. Sudanese immigration in Australia. Maybe you can speak a little more freely on cases happening abroad. They've got
I would probably speak the same because this is what I feel.
Okay, so they've got these gangs, now in Victoria that are going around attacking people. I can't remember the statistics off the top of my head, but it's crazy when you compare the percentage of the population to the percentage of crime committed. Hugely overrepresented or disproportionately represented in crime stats. They've imported a problem that could just be so easily prevented. We could stop rape, we could stop theft, we could stop violent crime happening to Australians if they just said, you know what, we're not really interested in this standard of individualism because it makes us feel morally good. We're just interested in what works. No to Sudanese, thank you very much.
Well, why doesn't the same apply to the Poles?
To Polish people?
Yeah.
They're not the same, Carl.
Are you saying they don't form gangs? Are you saying they don't
not
commit
to the
crimes?
same rate?
Yes,
I don't
they do.
know.
Have you just haven't looked into it, have you? There is a huge problem with Polish gangs in Carlisle. There's a huge problem with it. You just haven't looked into it.
I'm not really in favour of Eastern Europeans coming in that much either, to be honest. I'm strict.
I agree.
I
want a Northern Western European ethno-state as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except I want it without the Germans and the French. So I'm advocating for a British ethno-state.
Yeah. Okay.
I see what you mean. I know what you mean, and I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, personally, I'm very much for low immigration generally. Yeah. I actually don't think we need very much immigration at all. But the problem is the way you frame it is, honestly, it is kind of racist.
It sounds racist.
It does, yeah. And I think that you're never going to get any kind of reduction in immigration when you approach it this way, because all you're going to do is make people think, well, he's taking a very extreme position, and therefore the other extreme position must be the correct one, which is awful. I think it makes you sound unreasonable, and it makes the people who are also unreasonable on the other side sound reasonable. So I think that the way you frame it is terrible, because you literally didn't realize about the Polish gangs, which are a real problem, Romanian gangs as well. These are, and they're not.
I know about Romanian gangs.
But there's drug smuggling across borders and all this sort of stuff.
Sure.
These are real problems, and it's not just a black-white issue, and I mean that literally and metaphorically.
I understand what you mean. But I think that, we would see a dramatic reduction in crime if we did what I'm suggesting. I don't know how we could pitch it to the public. I do feel, though, what I'm saying is just logical and correct.
Well,
I don't care if it makes people go, ugh.
You're not
whatever.
wrong. But the thing is, I think really the way that the state is handling this stuff is the main problem, because the worrying thing is we're really permissive about all this stuff. We're very afraid of going, we don't want to be called racist, and therefore. But we should be a lot more muscular about how we handle immigration into the West. We should say, well, no, you can't just form ethnic enclaves and segregate yourself from the rest of society. You are going to have to live in this place or that place, and you are going to have to actually integrate and actually become culturally acclimatized.
Right.
Otherwise, these people will, as you say, form ethnic gangs and actually start becoming a problem for the people around them.
Yes, which is why we shouldn't let them in, I think it's wishful thinking to think that they will integrate. The next thing, though, I said the state should privilege, its citizens. Almost across the world, every single state, the idea of sovereignty is connected to its ethnic group that it protects. If you go to Japan, it's full of Japanese people. The state is there to serve them, to privilege them.
Multi-ethnic nations.
And if you're an immigrant into one of these countries, if you were to emigrate there, you would be a second-class citizen.
I don't think we should have second-class citizens.
Well,
I think hang on. And I think your definition of ethnicity isn't actually the definition that everyone else uses. I think you're talking about race, aren't you?
Well, there's an overlap there.
No, ethnicity is not necessarily tied to race.
I mean, Japanese people are privileged in Japan.
Yeah, but
if South Koreans move there, they're not treated the same way. They're the same race.
There are other racial groups in Japan. There is not. I mean, I don't know the name.
It's very homogenous. I mean, it's 95% Japanese, right?
There are other racial groups, and in fact, they feel like they're being pushed out, frankly. But I mean, you've got someone like China, which again is not just one homogenous racial group, and we can see bloody hell.
There are different ethnic groups in China, sure.
Yeah, exactly. No, there are different racial groups in China, and ethnicity is not just your race. I mean, for example,
I understand that.
There are. I mean, I guess if we're going to say white people in Britain, we're still looking at, multiple different ethnic groups in Britain, even if they are technically white. But even then, that's I think, a very pointless thing to say. I mean, there's Celtic, there's German, whatever. So it's one of those things where I don't think it's necessarily a productive conversation either. But I definitely don't think the state should be privileging some groups of citizens against another, because ultimately what you're saying there is the social justice warriors did nothing wrong when they told you shut the fuck up for being a white man. And that's fucking wrong, man.
Well, I'm not pro social justice warriors.
Yeah, but that's exactly. That's just an argument. It's okay when I do it. That's
I
your
don't,
argument.
horseshoe theory, okay.
No, but that's your argument is it's okay when I do it.
Yes, I'm arguing for the status quo of the world here, Carl, pretty much.
No,
the only
not.
countries that don't do this
I don't
are Western European nations and countries we call Western.
Oh, great. So you want us to act like third world countries.
Well, I'll give you an example. I actually am an immigrant. I live in Vietnam. I'm here visiting
and
family.
Should you be discriminated against?
I am. I'll give you some
Is it a good
examples.
thing?
I'll give you some examples, and yes, I do. But I'll give you
And it's
some
a good thing
examples.
when they do.
So I have far less economic liberty. I can't open a business unless I do it with a Vietnamese partner who must own over 50% of the business.
Mm-hmm.
I can't buy any property unless I do it with a Vietnamese.
Are you a citizen there? Or are you
No.
Right.
But
right.
citizenship is almost impossible. It is almost. I don't know anyone who's been able to do this. The state is there to ensure.
I'm specifically speaking to citizenship. Like the state shouldn't discriminate against citizens.
Well, if we could make our standard of citizenship the same as Vietnam or Japan, I think we'd have very few problems.
I don't know what Vietnam's standard of citizenship is.
It
sounds like it's very high. Yeah.
It is very difficult. They're very keenly aware of maintaining dominance within their borders because they've been invaded by the Chinese, they've been invaded by the Japanese, they've been invaded by the French and the Americans. I mean, you could say it's an invasion, whatever. They see it that way.
Not the same thing, yeah.
Not quite the same thing. They've kicked these people out. So they do not want foreigners coming in, buying property, opening businesses, just, willy-nilly. Oh, well, you're an individual. We have to treat you like an individual, give you individual rights. Absolutely not. I mean, if I were to go into a country and behave like some sort of social justice warrior, I'm so oppressed. I deserve tax money to be expropriated from the Vietnamese to me. You shouldn't say that about white people, blah, blah, blah. They just deport me.
Well, yeah, but why did you move there then if you're not in favour of immigration?
No, I have a good life there. I don't feel oppressed. I think it's fair. It's their country. I'm a guest. It's a lovely place to live. I don't think it's oppression, Carl. I think it's
I didn't say you thought it was oppression.
Reasonable. I think it's moral. I think it's fine that Vietnamese people remain dominant in Vietnam. Likewise, I want that for the English.
I just
in
find
England.
it very ironic that you would actually go out of your way to do the thing that you're complaining about.
Huh?
You go out of your way to do the thing that you're complaining about. That's very very amusing to me.
Well, no, because I'm saying I'm a guest there.
It's okay when you do it.
Yeah, but they are, it's like a 99% homogenous country. I mean, maybe less than 1% are immigrants. They're in total control of their country. The reason why people are against immigration is because it takes away, it chips away at the cultural fabric of the country.
I agree.
It causes social divides. It causes schisms. There's ethnic conflict between groups. This is why people don't like it. In Vietnam, they have a very firm grip on it, and it's not a problem. But if I was to step out of line there, as I said, if I didn't respect my status as a guest, they'd just boot me out. I want a government to do that.
Well, I genuinely wish our government would be more restrictive with who they gave citizenship. But that would mean not letting people who weren't citizens come here. I don't want mass immigration, and I don't want our government to just give away our citizenship willy-nilly. But by the same token, I don't want the government choosing to create two-tier classes of citizenship and then discriminating one against the other. Because, my God, have you seen the people in charge of our government? Like,
they're pretty awful.
Yeah, exactly. If we say, okay, you know what, you can privilege one group over another, even though they're both citizens, you know exactly what's going to happen in this country. We can't allow that.
Yeah, I think when you say, put it this way, is that they're both citizens. I mean,
you're not a citizen. That's the thing. So
I would change this rule about how to get citizenship in this country. I'd make it far harder.
I'm down. I don't want so many people to be British citizens. I want to make it more difficult to be a British citizen. I would it used to be something you had to earn. And so I would be more than happy if it was a much higher bar to just we don't just give it away. I mean, I used to live above an Indian restaurant, and the chap who ran it was an Indian man who came here in the 60s, and he was the most vociferous anti-immigration advocate that I've ever heard. Because it was literally his argument that look, you're just giving it away. I had to do something. I had to learn the language. I had to have some sort of citizenship test or whatever it was. He was very concerned that we would just make it so easy for anyone to come in. I think he makes really good points on that, But again, like I said, I don't think the government should be able to then start discriminating against citizens. So,
yeah, I think where we disagree is that I just want the government to basically promote the rights of the indigenous Brits, and I'm not really interested in promoting the rights of any other individual.
well, I just think the government should see people as citizens,
Mm.
and then just obviously be cagey about who becomes a citizen. I think that's a more sensible way of doing it.
All right, it was been very fun to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.